Hello, I'm Bonnie Curry, and I have some dear friends and special guests today.
Some old friends.
Some old friends. We were actually catching up on something about that. Obviously, this is Jill and Luke from For King and Country, and my grandson is here today, and he is 7, and I realized you guys were in that age group when I first met you guys, because we were doing Celebrate Freedom, and your sister Rebecca was one of our headliners, and you guys rolled through. Your dad was there, and I will say I remember your hair. It was kind of crazy.
Luke's hair specifically.
Maybe not done. Is that what you're hinting at? Like maybe
nothing has changed.
Some things don't change. You know what I do in the morning? I wake up, I have a shower, I let it dry for a minute, and I go like this.
And you fluff.
And it's done.
It's kind of lovely. Like it's kind of, and I think that's.
Hey, speaking of hair though, we just flew in from Nashville, and I had a gentleman who didn't have any hair on his head.
Right.
Just grabbed me and he said, "Great hair."
Oh,
and I was like,
that had to make you feel so good.
Because I don't just do this in the morning.
It got his
yours
day
is
off to
yours
a
is
great
more
start.
pronounced. I feel like there's a little more work to it.
Yeah.
As long as I've known you, it's not been a ton of
Effort?
Yeah,
You can call
I'm
it
not
that.
saying effort. I'm
You can say that.
a designated plan of hairstyle.
I think I prefer effort,
consistent.
the designated plan.
And the cool thing is this kind of goes right into the movie, because I remember your sister's career. I remember spending some time with her, but I also remember you both. And I was telling you both, the first time I actually got to see you both live was at a Celebrate Freedom moment, and I was backstage, and just to this day, I still think they are the best performing people I've ever seen at Celebrate Freedom, and it had everything to do with the drums, it had everything to do with that. But your family story is unique, and in this new movie that you have coming out, you guys take the focus off of you and you put it on your dad. Would you guys tell us about the movie?
Yeah. So originally born in Australia, hopefully you can still tell.
It's
is
definitely
true.
there.
You Americans have jacked up our accent, so thank you for
Tiny
that.
bit.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But born in Australia, our dad was a concert promoter in Australia, and on one particular tour that he brought back there, the tour didn't go very well, and we lost everything that we had as a family. We lost the house, the car, the life savings, and so Dad was looking for a fresh start for the family, for his career, and he got a job offer in Nashville, Tennessee. Thought it would be a good idea to move his 6 kids to the other side of the world, and his wife, who was 6 months pregnant at the time. And that's what we did, but soon after we arrived in Nashville, Dad lost that job, and so we're stranded on the other side of the world. It was a thing, you know, but no friends, no family, sleeping on beds made out of clothes. Didn't have any way for our little sister to be born in a hospital. I weren't always quite sure where the next meal was going to come from. Didn't have a car, and we didn't know what else to do other than just gather around and just start praying for these things that we needed. And we just got to see God do amazing miracles. And I've told some sort of kind of semblance of that story at all of our shows. And I had a lot of people come up and say, "Hey, you guys should write a book." And the truth is, Joel and I were homeschooled, so we don't read or write very well. And so,
shout out to the homeschoolers.
And so we thought maybe we could make a movie instead. And the heartbeat behind the movie really is kind of what you were just talking about. It's about family. When we first came to America, we didn't know really how to trust anybody else other than just the people that were our family. And I think that family is more important today than it ever has been in the history of the world. But yet we don't quite value it as we should. And Mother Teresa says, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And that's really the heartbeat behind the film.
The story is beautiful. And the cool thing is I've kind of watched your family live it out over the years. And I will say this, you guys are a tight family. One of the road crew that was there at Celebrate Freedom actually said something about your family about that, and said about your dad, he goes, "Oh, that's a tight family. Like, they keep it super, super close." Is that something that you guys have kind of applied to your own lives today? That tightness, that close-knit sort of community that comes from within?
It's interesting. We were just in Louisiana with the Robertsons, Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
That's a tight family.
Oh, yeah.
They have
a compound.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
The whole thing. It was modeled for us growing up to work together and to find ways to collaborate with each other, and to not just set aside differences, actually embrace differences. And so I think we come together we come together to work. Like, we're all part of this. This is very much a family band, very much a family film.
Yeah.
But interestingly, when there's a lot of respect and delineation in respective families. Like, we live in different parts. We live in the same town, but different parts of the same town. And everyone has given. I've been really proud of us, actually, for giving each other a lot of grace with life choices and decisions as to each family. And Mum and Dad have really modeled that really well in this era as well, because that tightness can tend to become handcuffs at some point if you don't. 7 kids, 15 nieces and nephews, there's 6 spouses. You've got to be able to.
You're a whole village.
Yeah, we are.
You're an entire village.
So we are tight, but I feel like Luke says it well. We're functionally dysfunctional.
It works.
But separation can help.
Yeah, for sure. Was there anything about the movie that your dad specifically made sure was in the movie? Was there any moment where he said, this has to be in this film?
So this is what's funny. We've had a lot of people, more in the last week, for whatever reason, ask, hey, so what was the family input? I've had a lot of people say, hey, what did everybody say? And the truth is, for the most part, Joel and I, and obviously, script writers and producers, and we just kind of ran with it. We didn't have a lot of input for the most part. Up until about a month before was when it's like, hey, we're about to go shoot this.
Right.
We do need to have some other people just say,
Read
hey,
the story.
You read it and let us know if there's any alarms. And so we sent it to Mum and Dad, and
wait. So just before you shot, they hadn't
about a
really.
month.
Yeah, we sent the script to them as like a, hey,
this is what we're planning.
Last looks, if you have anything to change.
Speak now, forever hold your
peace. And they so talked about, making sure that the miracles that we saw were highlighted. But for the most part, they didn't say much. Well, here's what we just found out in the last week.
Like 3 days ago, Bonnie.
Is that our dad never even read it. He said, I want to make sure that I don't get to, I'm a big personality, I have all these thoughts, I don't want to get too involved. I think other people need to look at it, and I think that they need to come with...
You look a little stunned still.
Yeah, we were a little shocked.
We were shocked. Mum, actually, we were doing an interview with Mum, and we were talking about how they'd both read the script, and she's like, oh, no, Dad never did.
Just her.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
And it's coming out when?
It comes out the 26th of April.
Right.
And fun fact, speaking of Mum and Dad, it's April 26th is their 49th wedding anniversary, which Lionsgate picked the date. And about a week later, we called Mum on the phone and we said, hey, they're releasing the film theatrically on the 26th of April. And she said, oh, that's our 49th wedding anniversary.
That's precious.
Right?
Precious.
We lied. Bonnie, we said yes. That's why we did it.
Of course you did. Of course you did. And I'm hoping she's never going to see this
No.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows. We've told the story in front of her. But this is a story about miracles. Like, it's his family film, like Luke said. One of the great quotes in the film there's a few great quotes. One of the great quotes is, your family's not in the way, they are the way. And so it's a family film. It's a film about mums. It's a film about miracles. And even behind the camera, there were so many miracles. Mm-hmm. It's a film about music. That's part of what I love about it. It's like, it's an adventure film. It's the 90s. So many great needle drops. Stryper.
No.
We got Stryper, Amy Grant, Michael W.
Petra?
Jesus Jones.
No
Petra. No. Lenny Kravitz, Rod Stewart,
But that's in your blood.
Seal.
Right, that's in your blood.
That's
right. For sure. Oh,
it was actually kind of fun to create a nod to a lot of the homage of what we grew up with musically, the bands and the artists that shaped us.
Where you're at right now, we were talking just a little bit ago about how your lives feel right now. What is making you the most happy right now?
It's been fascinating, the delineation between music and movies, because music, and that's our day job, right? We love it. We love singing for you guys live and on recordings, but you have years to promote an album.
Right.
And with a movie, you have these 72 hours, April 26th, 27th, 28th, particularly when it's theatrical.
Right.
To prove to the world that this is the type of film that people want to go to the cinemas to see.
Yeah.
You basically compress all of the things we would do over a few years and just compress it, marketing-wise, into this time.
Intense.
And it's been awfully intense. But to your question, sometimes in the intensity, it highlights the things that you just love. And the thing that's been highlighted for me, to be different for each of us, but I just love being home with my wife. Like I love being home with Mariah so much. There's something about the simplicity of that. And we just celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
We've still got a ways ahead of us, but we're having a great time and we're best friends and love partnering. And so that's probably one of the great joys, is just the journey with her. We built a home and her parents-in-law live just next door, and our parents are building just down the hill, and so there's
it's that
sweet
close-knit thing.
There's the compound.
Yeah,
it's
there it is right there. I was
the
about to say,
compound.
I love that he was like, no, we're not doing
that.
Like, well, I got
You're like,
there's
she's
50
here,
people
they're
over there.
here, they're here. You've got your whole family around you, which is, again, not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. I just, watching you guys grow up and watching your family sort of take on new challenges. I will say the movie thing does seem to kind of run in the blood. Like I see a lot of joy through this. I see a lot of, I'm excited for you guys. I have a person that works here that let me know that he saw it, and he said, Bonnie, that might be one of the best things I've seen in a while. It's that good. And we will tell each other the truth behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? We will say, and he flat out said, it's one of the best things I've seen.
It's been a labor of love. It's been very rich for us. You know, we're 10 years into partnership, 15 years into partnership ourselves, Luke and me, and so this idea of shifting a gear and trying something new, we just released, we're releasing an Inspired By album. We just released a To Hell With the Devil with Lecrae and Stryper, and so we've just been able to like open our eyes into a whole new world of collaboration and partnership that I don't know if we expected either.
Yeah, but it's a good place to be right now.
Yeah.
Glad you guys are here. Obviously, go see the film. It's going to be amazing. It opens
the
April
26th of April, which we've dubbed Family Day.
Family Day.
Because you got Mother's Day a few weeks later.
Right.
You got Father's Day, but it feels like we all need a good family day at the theaters.
I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Thank you so much for being here. I'm
Thanks
Bonnie
for
Curry,
having
94.9 KLTY.